I still will go over a bit of what I had planned. So I think all of you, I'm not sure, Mike, if you've set up Google Analytics, but I know we've set it up with the other two. Um, as far as setting it up, we have a few videos on it. Um, a an office hour session or two, I think, that we went over how to install it. And then once you have it installed, then you have a few different places in your dashboard. The first being the home page. This is like a quick overview of all of the type of data that you would find through reports and explore. So am I in the right spot? Yes, I am. You can also check out insights. You guys over. When you're coming into Google Analytics pretty fresh, you may have limited insights, but these are just based on how you're moving around your analytics dashboard. The insights start to learn your behavior a bit, like through AI, and they'll start to tailor the insights to better to how your behavior is on the dashboard. At the beginning, they're going to be pretty basic. So you'll see kind of just generic questions. And when you click on any one of them, it's going to show you that data. And so I think you're able to share just those insights. If you were looking to share an entire report, we would go over to our left-hand side. And so you have the reports tab. You'll have a number of reports that are already preset. Again, the report snapshot is similar to like the home dashboard. It's a big, quick overview of all of the data that we'll find in individual reports. Real time is as it sounds, who is exactly coming to your site within the last 30 minutes. And then these here, lifecycle and user are, I believe they're known as sections. And again, these are what are already preset, but you do have the ability to customize reports. And I think that was the major question that started this session. Because again, these preset ones are pretty helpful. Like for example, user acquisition shows you where your new users are coming from and what their default channel was. So and I'm working in, it's not a MyLO site, but the California League has an education fund website, and that's the one that we're looking at now. So you can see that a lot of our traffic to that website comes from organic search. Similarly, with traffic acquisition, you're finding out where folks are coming from, but this time it is focused more on just the session channel. So not user focused, but session focused as far as the traffic goes. And then it does break it down per user off to the right. So as I said, you can customize reports. I'll show you an example of one I essentially customized this traffic acquisition report, and I created this. And I'll show again how I did this. This is essentially the traffic acquisition report, but for one specific page. And let's see, I think that's probably the recommended way if you're trying to keep a quick way to be able to go back and look at, the report of a page. The other way to narrow down a report, if you were trying to just see it for a moment, I can also add a filter or a comparison. So a filter or a comparison can just, be added to an existing report. And so what I had done to create my customized report, I'll show it through adding a filter. So with the dimensions, there are a lot to choose from. I will say the demographics, we don't have the option of. We don't have, I think it's the Google Ads enabled, but all others, you can narrow down by geography. So if you wanted to just or compare, sorry, I'm working on a filter. So the difference between comparison and filter, obviously the comparison, you get to compare them against all users. But with the filter, I'm going to just take out those that I select. So by geography, I can go off of page and screen, and that's actually what I'm going to do. So the page path and screen class allows us to or specify a URL. So I'm going to choose exactly matches. And what Google Analytics does as far as the values that are available, there we go, that might be a little easier. Sorry, I keep having to move my little thumbnail out of the way. Okay. So once you select page path and choose exactly matches, then Google Analytics brings up the page paths, essentially the second portion of your URLs, as a value to choose from. So if I just wanted to see, one page or a handful of pages, I could see where folks are coming in to, check out our types of elections pages. Maybe I want to also see where folks are, landing from vote elections ballot measures. I'm just going to start with types of elections first and apply. So we'll see it change in real time. So my graphs have changed and my data has changed. But when I want to see the original data, I just have to exit out of that filter or remove that filter. The difference with what I did, so that was the filter added. We're going to do the same thing, but through customizing the report. So when I go to customize, then the data that we see resets back to the preset traffic acquisition report. And we have the ability to edit the dimensions and the metrics, but I typically just like to keep those in place unless you do know which one you'd like to see instead. You can mess around with the defaults. So let's actually set this one as default, since the session default channel group does show us where it originated from. But if we get to see the session source/medium as the default, then we'll get to see, there we go. We get to see where it originated as far as like Google, Bing. It tells us still if it was an organic or referral or direct, but it then takes it down even further and tells you where exactly was that organic session or source from. So the other thing that I always forget too, when I'm looking at my reports, it will always narrow your rows per a page down to 10. And I always find that we usually don't have that little of data. So just be mindful of that. Otherwise, if you do leave it at a limited number of rows per page, then you have a pager off to the right. So either way, but this lets me know not only do we have quite a bit of organic and referral traffic, but I get to see exactly where it is. So that's really awesome to know that we are getting essentially linked link backs, referral traffic from outside websites. So if I was ready to make this change, I'm actually going to change a couple of the metrics. So the dimensions go from top to bottom. They're on the left-hand side, and the metrics are what go across the top. And the metrics are quantitative. And one thing that I always do as far as the revenue information in Google Analytics, we just don't get that information. It's totally fine to keep on your reports, but I just like to clean things up, and I hit apply. Okay, and then if you were ready to save a report, you can actually save it to the current report, which would override the preset. But what I like to do is just save as a new report, and then you're able to, give a better description. Let's see. So I'm putting organic, referral, etc., traffic, and where it originated. So that helps me a little bit in knowing what that's about. So once you save a report, it tells you really quick at the bottom that the report was saved in the library. So we go back, and when we go over to reports, that opens up this little menu again, and we go down to library. Okay, so just to acclimate you to this section, the collections, I had previously called them sections. They're collections. So life cycle and user, we see them here as two of the three collections. The business objectives is not showing there because it's unpublished. And I think this is a collection that every new GA4 property has. We're asked this question during setup. I'm not sure why it doesn't automatically publish it, but if you were hoping to have another set of reports, I mean, we might as well do it to see what that looks like. So those, if you're trying to, see different collections, or you're trying to see them arranged differently, then you would edit your collections here. Then down below, we see all of our reports. So these are going to be all of the preset reports that already exist in all of these collections, but also the ones that we have customized. So let's see, how do I do it? Okay, no, it's not through editing the report, but it is through editing the collection. So if you would like to see one of your customized reports up in the left-hand side, then edit whichever collection it is that you'd like to see it under. Since I created it as a traffic acquisition report, we'll just edit the life cycle for the acquisition section. Okay, so you can see I already have my other custom report there. From the right-hand side, this is where you'll drag from. And we drop that in and save. Oh, and you get another option to, if you wanted to essentially make a copy of this collection to not override the existing. But I typically just save the changes right on top, because it is as easy just to remove a report by clicking the X. So going back, the number one, well, I guess there's two big reasons for saving a custom report within a collection. It's easier to share. And when you do share it, then the date remains dynamic. Like if you're using one of their preset options, then let's say you share the report. And sorry, I didn't make a change there, but just the fact that it doesn't have a specific date, it just says today, yesterday. As we continue to see this report over time, that yesterday will remain current. So it won't always remember yesterday as December 20th, 2023, but will move as time moves. So that is really important. So I just wanted to see about making a change there. But the other reason is that then when you come to your reports, you can very easily see what's going on with that same data. So to show you too how to share it, and this goes for not just the custom reports, but all the preset, like any of these. Let's just double check that it has the same options there. Yeah. So we have the same options here. We saw customize report. Insights we saw on the home dashboard, but it's available on every report as well. Edit comparisons is the same as adding one, and that's similar to how you would customize or add a filter. The same options in changing a report are offered in those three. But to share this report, you have three options. If you download the file, then that is going to make it, it won't be dynamic anymore. So downloading the file would mean that this would make it a report covering the static time of September 22nd to December 20th, and that's it. If you share a link or schedule an email, actually, I haven't tested the schedule an email one. I think it is a link. But as far as sharing a link, that for sure will allow folks to see the report dynamically. So as I selected the last 90 days as the date range, then they'll always see the last 90 days as time goes on. With both of these options, the schedule email and the share link, the only downside is that folks have to have pre-approved access to the property at the very least. So I have this share link. If I try and visit, and let's see if I can even try. Oh, I'm not even logged in. It's not a proper test. Well, I won't be able to show you how it looks like if one doesn't have access, but let me show you what I had to do because this pink browser is a different Google account, and I actually have access to the property. So this is what it looks like when you have access. So what I had to do was in the admin, you're able to either grant account access management or property access management. It is probably best to allow folks property access management. The account access management, with both, you have full control over choosing a role for that person, and there are several roles to choose from. I would just recommend property access management since the overarching account, unless you're trying to allow for folks to be able to control the account itself and the properties within, I would say otherwise avoid it, and property access management is what you'll want to check. So This is the person that I added. Let's see, does it show me my details? No, let's just pretend like I'm adding a new user. So if you add a user, you can add multiple folks at once. Just note that they would be the same role. But at the very least, a viewer, that's what I set my the pink browser up as. I can see the report, and I even have a little control. I'm going to bring that back here. So this is me viewing the report. I can even actually manipulate the date range myself as a viewer. I also, since the original or the custom report that I'm sharing here, but from my original Google Analytics section from here, I had set only certain dimensions and certain metrics. So they're able to add here, but they're only able to add by those certain, no, they actually have a full range of being able to add a secondary dimension there. So it's a little more, or not control, but a little more flexibility. So that, as far as sharing the link, you do definitely need to provide property access. We're going to test out the email share. So going back to reports. Okay, so coming on back, I'm going to try to schedule an email. I'll skip the description. Okay, so the recipient list is coming from the folks that have access to the property. So again, scheduling an email does require property access management, or for folks to have property access. And it is a good idea to have more than one administrator to your Google Analytics account. So, and that's, before any reports or anything, going back to the admin. And that I would suggest having it over the account access management. It's always best to have more ability. I myself don't have administrator access to this, so that's why I'm seeing it in this way. But for yourself, I think most of our MyLO webmasters have created the Google Analytics on their own Google accounts. So you will see the actual list of users that have access and their different roles. If you were looking to add folks, then it would just be how I was going through the steps on the property access management. And I'll show you the role types again. And you can have as many different users and role types as you need. The administrator obviously has full control. The editor has everything except for managing users. So having at least one other administrator and a handful of editors, it's not, I would recommend it. Any questions so far? Okay. Does anybody have like maybe an idea on a kind of report we might be able to build here? You're muted, Mary Jo.
So as Anne-Marie knows, this is just like over my head, and I could care less because one of our website persons does all this. But as you might remember, what I like to look at is what page are they looking at? Are they looking at my local voter information? Are they looking at our events page? So that's what Jennifer usually gets me is the highest pages visited. It's also fun to see, I guess, how many, but I always, I get confused because I look at something, I think, wait a minute, I know 50 people did not look at that. Probably half of them are me looking at, working on it. So I use the ones that kind of make sense to me, but you still get a feel for what pages you were working on, but also people are looking at.
Yeah, no, that is true. And there is some ability to try and filter out our own traffic. But yeah, it takes a bit of
Yeah.
extra
Not
pre-work.
worth it.
But yeah, as far as like that kind of um where folks are landing the most, we'll find all kinds of similar information under the engagement reports. So I think landing page is probably most similar to what you would be looking for there. And this is just where
Yeah.
are folks landing the most over time. Um, you can also, let's see, let's see what would be useful. Let's see maybe what region they're coming from, or let's try city.
Wow.
I was not expecting um, a non-US city to come up at the top. Everybody needs to learn about types of elections, though. So, um, adding a secondary dimension, obviously we see it breaks down the data quite a bit more. I can't remember how many rows I had previously, but it definitely increased that number because we see now the landing page once per city that it has come up in, if that makes sense. So again, I struggle a little bit to try and find like realistic examples of, how we can really fine tune this data. But if you were looking to see where folks are located and where they're landing to, then this would be helpful. But let me go over a couple of others here in the engagements. So this one is similar to the landing page, but it is just an overall view of your pages. So again, it is showing us just 10. I'm going to make that 250. And for this one, we see, like I said, the page views. We get to see the users, the views per user, just breaking that down, and then the average engagement time. And let's see the average length of time that the app was in the foreground of the website, or the website had focus in the browser.
Maurice, excuse me, the
Yeah.
number 4 privacy, would that be a page that you would, I don't get that.
This one, we
Number
have
4.
404 errors, and
Yeah,
this is,
number 4,
number
privacy.
4. Yeah, that is our privacy statement. So it
Oh,
is an existing page.
okay.
Um, but yeah, this is for not a MyLO site, so it is a bit different.
Oh, okay.
Um, but why don't I show you on MyLO? The reason I didn't want to show on MyLO is because I see all of MyLO, and it's not like I'm seeing one individual MyLO site. But I can still pop over there. Let's see. Okay, so this is the same report, but now on MyLO's side. And so this shows us all of MyLO. The slash that always just means it's your home page. So this is the MyLO homepage. If you ever see this on your own reports, it means it's your homepage. I think that comes up quite a bit. Let's see. I'm not sure of the difference between page title and screen class and page title and screen name. But this is showing you the title of the page rather than the path, like the URL. Gonna change for us. There we go. Okay. And then this here too, if you ever see like that, that is actually referring to like your calendar, your positions, because those aren't actually pages. They just hold the positions, which are a page. Like your calendar is not an actual page, but it holds your events, which are considered pages. So that is also something that you'll see come up on your reports if you're looking at this specific dimension where it's page title or the dimension includes page title. You'll be able to know what that is referring to. But no, I wanted to show you a custom report that I had. So I have, for myself, started to see about customizing reports within our MyLO Google Analytics to see it for a specific league. So sometimes, well, previously we used to offer, and we still do, I just have to teach myself about this dashboard, but we used to offer reports if folks couldn't generate them themselves or they didn't have access to a Google Analytics already. We would just ask them, what type of information are you looking for, and provide us an email. So this has been my way of figuring that out again to make it work for GA4. So I had created this custom report, and what I did, and what many of you can do, is with the filter, I chose page, path, and screen class. And this time, instead of exactly matches, I put contains. So for your own use, if you were looking to check out your articles, you could have just /article. If you had any page that you might have named article and then it follows something else, just to be sure that you're only looking at the articles within MyLO that are specifically that content type, you would put /article/. So this would be a filter for you to be able to look at how your articles are performing. You could do the same thing for events because this, in the same way that our MyLO URLs are built up to show that the article content type is there, our events are like that as well. I'm just going to pull up a MyLO site so we can see the URLs at play. Oops, let's see if they have some past events. Okay. Might not be theirs, but that's okay. So we see a MyLO event and we see that it has /event/. So I could do the same thing for events. And the same thing for positions. It'll also has the /position/. Which other one am I forgetting? Action alerts as well. So we would see /action-alert. Here's one from the National League. So we would always see /action-alert preceding whatever the page title is for that action alert. So let's see. I'm going to just change this to event. And this time I actually took away the filtering of it being specifically for Orange Coast. So this is events. Yeah, these are events that are happening all over MyLO. And I get to see where folks are coming from. And they specifically landed to an event page. So yeah, to work with MyLO's URL structure and to create a custom report or to filter a report, that's some handy ways to do it with those content types. Any questions?
I have no questions on that. I do have a specific question about something else.
Yeah, we can always just jump back to our MyLO.
Can you go to my page?
Yeah.
There's the our page. So we're okay, so go back up to where it says general Michigan voter information.
Click
Yeah,
there.
yeah. And okay, scroll down just a bit. So you see where it says ballot tracking in Michigan?
Uh-huh.
I've tried to add, like the / promote the vote, and I don't know what's going on, and it won't let me.
Okay.
I think I've done it, and it doesn't work.
Okay. PDF links can be a little tricky. Let me
Oh,
masquerade as you.
but all the other ones work, so I don't know. Maybe there's something that I have to erase. I don't know.
You might have to just use the eraser. Yeah, sometimes it is a matter of using the eraser even just kind of as a preventative measure.
Hmm.
When you hit the space bar, you can tell that although we're away, yeah, it was still highlighted. And that tells us that it's an active link. But the other clue about knowing that there's a link still attached to our cursor is that down here, let me zoom in a bit. Down here, we see path and it says
Oh,
span.media-element file-link. That is HTML for there's a PDF link. And it's specifically a PDF link that was used or dropped in through our media browser.
right. Which I've been doing
So
more of, and it works great.
yeah, it is very awesome to be able to drop it in so easily. The only downside is that it really likes to get stuck behind the scenes in the HTML. Like
Hmm.
with this cursor, you would think, we've dropped down to the next line, it's not there, but we still can see that the path is showing up as span.media. So what I do, coming back, if I hit the space and we're still, seeing that span.media, then I hit the eraser and that breaks the chain, the connection.
Oh,
Um,
just like that, because I
just
never
like
know
that.
where to put the cursor to. Okay.
Yeah, so again, when I place my cursor at the end of it, then we see the path comes back up. I hit space, the path is still there. Just hit that eraser.
Okay.
Whoops.
Well, while you're there, can you just type
Yeah,
in promote the vote?
yeah. Is it still?
Oh,
Let's see, let's make sure.
something's still.
It still seems like it's popping up.
Hmm.
Well, I'm gonna try.
I mean, I could always start over, but
Still seems like it is. We're going to try highlighting it and erasing there.
I don't know what those green things were. There must be something on your computer.
Yeah, that I have Grammarly set up. I think that should do the trick. I'd also want to test it out to see. Let's save it as a draft.
Oh, it's
Okay,
there.
it took it back. That's not what I was going for, but I guess not too bad.
Oh, you mean because it's right next to the end?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
took away that extra space.
Mm.
But that I think it took away that extra space because of the span media link thing that we're trying to resolve. Yeah, I don't know why it won't let me. Okay, I think that space is in there now. Took a little finagling. Okay. But yeah, the
Oh,
eraser
merci, merci.
for
Thank
sure.
you.
The eraser is super helpful when you're trying, especially when you're trying to add like a list of PDF links like this, because I know folks have had trouble where you are trying to add the next one, but the previous link is sticking to the next set of text that's supposed to be a different PDF link. So eraser after every PDF link that you drop in will help.
And also to look down and to notice that thing down there. Yeah. And then
Mhm.
I just have a real quick tip, and it really isn't MyLO specific, but so I use Constant Contact for my two newsletters.
Mhm.
And there's times when I cannot copy and paste. And I was even in incognito, which sometimes helps. So I thought, you know what? Maybe I've just got too many windows open. So I closed all, but what I was working on, and then they worked. Then so I don't know if that's something that everybody knows. I don't know. I just, that was only the one time. So I don't know if it'll always happen with me when I have issues, but I've been having a lot of issues with not being able to copy and paste in Constant Contact. So anyway,
Mm. That makes some sense though. I was having some trouble copying and pasting the other day, and it was just a WordPress site, nothing that I've had trouble with before, but I had a lot of tabs open. So
okay. Okay. So it's just a little trick. Yeah.
yeah, good tip to share.
I'm finished.
Did
Although you
anybody?
did not, you noticed that on my slideshow, I did one thing I'm doing is every couple days, looking at the national website and also the Facebook to see if they have any new things. And
Awesome.
I didn't know about the election action alert, but I thought, well, why not? Because they keep bringing it up. So, but anyway, I stole the holiday one.
Good.
It
That's
worked.
what
It
they're
worked.
there for.
It was the
Yeah.
800 by 400, I guess. So
Nice.
I
I
was able
mean,
to use it.
yeah, sometimes if even if they're not the exact 800 by 400 that we recommend, if it is
Yeah.
as long as it's the aspect ratio
As long
of
as I
a,
could see everything.
yeah, as
Yeah.
long as it's twice as big as it is as high, then it will fit. Um, that's awesome. Yeah, I still need to get around to I first need to ask our executive director
Yeah.
if it's okay if I
You
do
see
it.
how so you see how I handled it. Because you can't, I mean, I don't know. I couldn't leave it empty. So I thought, well, I'll just put it in, what it's if people because it's hiding that sort of.
Yeah.
I
No,
don't
I
know.
think
Maybe
that
I probably should add the league.
I think so.
I
But I
think
think
so, because it was
that
kind
is
of
a good
dumb.
workaround. And I
Yeah.
think that that is a fitting title too from all of us at the league is nice.
Yeah. I think I'm going to change it. Thanks.
Hmm. All right. Any questions? Cork, Mike, any questions from y'all?
I'd just be happy to learn how to do this slideshow, but that's for another day. How
We
about
could,
the easy stuff? I've got, as you know, tables. Is there an easy way to center the tables in your body?
oh
Everything
yeah,
seems
let's
to be
go over
left.
that.
You can tell I'm still remedial. I still have my training wheels on.
No
So
worries.
do I.
I'm not sure where that puts me.
Training wheels are comfortable.
But I have to admit, thank you for all your help. It has just been, it's
For
just
sure.
invaluable for me to do that. And I know the league here locally is just benefiting for this. So thank you very much. I think the site that I'm now in charge of has improved dramatically. So thank you again for all your help.
Awesome. Yeah, no problem. I'm glad to be able to help.
Yeah, your ears should be ringing because I'm getting a lot of kudos that you should be getting hearing from.
No, I'm glad that they're coming. We won't have to commiserate as much if we're getting kudos.
Yeah, it's a lot better than when they come at you with pitchforks. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna try a different page. Okay, so let me drop in a table and then let's play around with the formatting of it.
Yeah.
Okay, so first you start with inserting it. Let's just bump that up a bit. You can center it from here.
Oh, okay.
The class insert. The other option that I would say that that's the easiest because the other option is you have to make sure that you select the entire table. And obviously it's already set because I set it from here. Let me take that off.
Okay.
But the other option, so select the entire thing and then we would center from here. Yeah, that doesn't always do the trick because it's centering our cells instead of the entire table.
Yeah. No, I
So
tried to
yeah,
go over to table property, but I couldn't get it to work there either.
so yeah, try under insert edit table. It will update your existing table.
Okay.
And let me just double check that that is correct.
Okay.
I just want to have something in each cell. Oops. Sorry, I'm just trying to see what that'll look like. Hopefully it is truly centering. Yes, it is. Okay.
Yeah, I'm also trying to get rid of recording the same information twice. I'm trying to, just put it in once and then have links to different parts of the site.
Oh,
So
yeah.
Previous,
If
that's previous people make a mistake on that. They just keep retyping the same information several places, and then when it gets updated, they just have to remember where they put it all.
that is a very good point because then you're also improving your SEO because then you have link backs to your own content and then
Yeah.
it's not repetitive content. Yeah, if you're trying to use anchor links, drop your cursor wherever you want the anchor to drop.
Okay.
Click on the insert edit anchor icon. Whatever you name it, just don't use spaces, hyphenate everything. So
Okay.
I like to copy what I type in because you'll need to repeat this for the second step. So that's
Like
where our
naming
anchor
sheets in
is.
Excel, you can't have spaces. Okay.
And then I can place the link to that on this same page. I could place it from a different page, wherever.
Okay.
I'm gonna just push that down the page so that we'll actually jump to it. So let's hyperlink that word. So since it's on the same page, I can just start off with the pound sign and then paste in what my anchor name was. If I was coming from a different page, then I would just have to include the node or what is the public URL, which would be visible at
Okay.
view published. But let me bring that little window back up. So yeah, if I was coming from a different page, then I'd need to include that. But since it's on the same page, we'll insert that there and let's test it out. All right, so donors, look here. So it takes us exactly to that point in this in the page.
Oh, I have learned too, just an FYI, I mean, I can't save anything in what you see is what you get. You have to save it in HTML. Otherwise, you get I get different results depending on how I save it.
Oh, are you making the changes in HTML or in? Oh, I think I see
No.
what you're saying. Are you talking about the table?
No, just when I've got a few, my main page, I used to put in dashes for lines in between different articles and stuff. And when you save it under HTML, it shows up. If you save it under what you see and what you get, whatever the WYSIWYG, then it doesn't show up. So again, there's just a
I
fine
think,
thing. If you want to always get what you're looking at, you have to do it in HTML.
yes, there are some things that, because I think I might have recalled us talking about the horizontal line HTML tag.
Okay.
Yeah, that one is an HTML, so it does technically WYSIWYG is doing its best to show you what's going to show up, but
Yes.
if there's HTML for it to interpret, it's going to interpret that too. But what it won't do when you save it under WYSIWYG is give you that HTML to interpret because it's already been interpreted.
Mhm.
So yeah, there are times you will have to save under HTML, but it's because you are making changes to the HTML.
I've got to remind myself, if I want to see it on the page, on the published page as WYSIWYG, I have to save it as HTML. WYSIWYG will show it to you in the drafting, but it won't produce it when you save it. So
And again, it's only in specific instances
yeah,
because on your
yes, it's
homepage,
not everything. It's not
yeah,
everything.
you have those horizontal lines there.
Yep.
But yeah, the horizontal lines are really nice when you have different sections of content and you're trying to have something that is, well, why don't I just throw one up here? It's responsive. So depending on which screen size you're using, it's going to change to that and adapt to that. So let's just take over one of these empty lines, and it is HR. So that's the tag. You don't need a closing tag. It is simply open caret HR close caret. And we do want to leave that as full HTML because again, I think this is also what you're talking about, Mike. If you go to WYSIWYG, you can see it.
Yes.
So we see an example of it, but again, we want to set that back to full HTML so that we can actually see it after saving.
Yes. Yep.
So yeah, yeah, because the alternative and what we often see is that folks will type in characters, and I would say that's the second best option. The characters are good because they won't go past the screen. There's always a breaking point for a character. It's one single thing. So once it gets to the end of a screen, then it's just going to go to the second line and the third line. So that's the downside with smaller screens. If you're using characters to separate, then the smaller screens are going to see like 3 or 4 lines of that dash. But using HTML, we're able to adapt to each screen size.
Thanks.
Thank you.
I'm Reese.
Yeah.
So Mike was saying about, copying and all that on his website, but it reminded me that, so I've been working on my newsletter, like I said, and there was something about an event that's coming that I'd already put on our website.
Mhm.
And so I wasn't going to repeat all that. So I just, I had the sort of the headlines in one sentence. And then I said, for more information, go here. And it, has the
link back to that.
URL for my article.
Mhm. Yeah, that is also helping too. The more link backs that you're creating, the better. You're improving that current content, but then you're also improving the visibility of the content that you're linking back to. So
Yeah, exactly.
sometimes it may feel a little redundant, but you're improving your SEO for your site. So that's
Well, I
awesome.
just don't want to, I have to go through it all again.
Right.
You said, it's silly, and it's right there.
Right. No, that is really good.
And also, I texted Jennifer earlier to see if she knew it, but she thought it was tomorrow, but it wouldn't matter because she's in Oregon getting on a plane. So she said to say hi to everybody.
Oh, good. Yeah, I'm sad for folks that might be waiting at the meeting tomorrow at noon, but hopefully they'll they'll see the reminder after that.
Okay.
Any
So how long would it
burning
take to
question?
go
Yeah.
over the slideshow thing? Do you have time for that? Is that
Yeah,
5 minutes or is that beyond?
that is
It
not
might
too
seem
long. Let's go
interested
for
in
it.
that also. Okay.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah. So I to be able to control them. So what you already have set up to be able to see what you have is through the Administrator League content or the Administrator League menu, manage content. So manage content shows you all content. So not just your slideshow items, but your pages, your events, all the different types of stuff. But we'll narrow it down to just our slideshow items and specifically the published ones. So if you were to narrow it down just to the slideshow items and not specify if they're published or not, then you're going to see ones that aren't in the slideshow as well. So we say published so that this is my complete slideshow right here. The order is controlled two ways. You can supersede the typical order by making items sticky. So right now I think my Happy Halloween is the top. So let's say I want my demo slide to sit at the top. You can make it stick.
Okay, excuse me just a second. Can we go back to where you start with a picture that is not in the software yet?
Yes. Yeah. Let's start with creating
Okay,
one
thanks.
for sure.
I figured you'd get to that sometime.
Let's start there. Okay. So back to the Administrator League menu, we add slideshow item.
Okay.
Let's call it something different. League info. So hopefully I have one to choose from. Let's just do this. Okay, so we've chosen. We want to leave that set as public. Private just means it requires a sign-in, and we don't want to do that for images. All right, and then you make sure you express that you have permission to use that image, make any changes to where it should show.
Okay, so excuse me again. So
Yeah.
it had one place to add images, and so I could go out on my desktop or something and select a picture, select an image and pull it in.
Mhm.
Okay, and then we're here.
And then this is the step after
Okay,
that.
okay,
Mhm.
okay.
And then you can choose if you choose to only show it to yourself. No, I'm the only person who should be able to use this media. If you have other webmasters in your group, they'd be able to use this for media as well. The alt
Okay, and
text.
so is there a media library within the MyLO platform?
Yes. Yes.
Okay,
Yeah. So
okay,
up here, if I didn't want to go and upload my own picture, let's say I want to search, I would go to all files, and that allows me to see any images that other MyLO webmasters have allowed to share with everybody.
okay,
The next one is your own. So if you have personally uploaded files, then you'll see them there. If you have
okay,
other webmasters, then you'll see yours and those other webmasters files in MyLeague's files. And then
okay,
web allows you to upload stuff from online. So like YouTube or Vimeo videos, you can upload here. I think if you have images uploaded elsewhere, depending on the link, you might be able to use that as well.
okay,
But yeah, the
okay,
upload function will be for bringing it from your own device.
okay. Thank you.
For sure. And then the alt text is obviously required. We recommend it because it's not only improving accessibility, but it improves SEO. So this should just be like descriptive text of what's going on in the image. Typically, I'd like to include the text that's there, and then my description is just going to be league members and partners in front of Oops, not a Capitol building, Capitol building.
So that's just a description of what it is.
Exactly.
Okay.
And sometimes if it's just an image that just has text, like it can be very simple.
Okay.
Yeah, just
Okay.
when I think of alt text, I try to think of someone who might be using a screen reader. Like those are usually folks that are visually impaired. How would you try to translate this image to them? So that's what
Okay.
I try and keep in mind when I'm building alt text.
Okay.
Title text is optional. It will, I'll show you where it comes up. When we hover over the image, it will come up. File description is for us webmasters to see in the media library. And then related issues, you can always choose to relate them. I am going to skip that for now. The media tags are helpful, again, when we are coming to search for this image. For my own,
I've never understood why the website's not on it. I just use newsletter because you can't ignore that. You have to put something.
right. Yeah. I would, yeah, I don't have one that I typically go for as far as like a default. Advocacy campaigns and voter education, I guess, are pretty like
But what's the
general
purpose?
buckets.
What's the purpose? How does that help at all?
The biggest purpose is for the search, like to be able to improve the search for us webmasters when we're looking through the media
So
library.
if you typed flag and then you clicked, historical image, theoretically, you would see an old flag, theoretically. I mean, I'm just trying to figure this out here.
I guess theoretically, but it is dependent upon the webmaster to choose these. So
No, I know, but I'm saying if I had an old, 1898 flag
mhm,
and I were doing this according to Hoyle,
mhm.
I would type the description in and then I would click historical image.
Yeah, and you can have more than one. So if it
Oh,
were,
okay.
yeah,
Okay.
if it were a like let's say
That's
that's
good.
with that
Okay.
same example, if it were a historical image of the flag that was also 800 by 400, then you could have it slideshow and historical image. And that will be helpful for folks who, let's say, are coming in and they're like, I need a historical image, but I just don't know exactly what I'm looking for, but I know it should be like old looking. Then they go through that search in the subject or choose that as the media tag in their search. And then
Yeah,
that
thank
way
you.
they can search. Yeah.
Thanks.
I'm going to make it advocacy campaign since this is our advocacy wrap up. Let's go ahead and save that. I'm going to change this just so that it is relevant. Okay. The slideshow link. Let me show you side to side. See if there's, okay. So here's an example. They are using the caption here. So coming on back, you have the slideshow link and the slideshow caption. So if you use both, they will stack so that technically the slideshow title is one line. The slideshow link will be the second line, or I think it would be the third because the slideshow caption would come in and be the second line. So let's just play around with adding them all so we can see the example. I'm not sure if I have that, but we'll leave that as our test. So any questions so far about any of those pieces of the slideshow?
Well, I'm going to wait till you fit it till I see what it
Yeah.
looks like.
Okay. So and when it comes to slideshow items, you do have to publish them in order to see them in the slideshow. And we save. So that's what it looks like, but it doesn't give us the true idea until we see it. There we go. So the image itself was definitely not 800 by 400, but it kind of works out. But this is what we get with the using the caption and the link. So yeah, I was afraid that I didn't have that URL properly set up. But I'm going to
Yeah,
go back in to make some changes. But yeah, go ahead.
I used that recently, well, for that ERA action alert, and I wanted to give a link to the actual page where you could go on and, you know, write your congressperson.
Mhm.
And I don't remember where I put it because I was concerned because I think I just put it in the link. I don't know if I put anything in the box before it because I didn't want to have too much junk. I
Right.
don't remember, but I that is how I use that.
No, I get that. And in having
Helpful.
the caption and the link, we can tell here it's kind of a not overwhelming, but it gets to be a lot. If I actually had a worthwhile caption, it
Yeah.
could be, you know, quite a bit of content here. So to get around that, I would recommend using one or the other.
Yeah.
Just the link or just the caption. I would lean more towards just the link because then the link creates a hyperlink across the whole slideshow item. So you could click anywhere on the slide and it would take you to that page that you're linking to. But I'm coming back here to manage content because I want to edit that. So again, the search is narrowed down to slideshow item and those that are published. And this is my newest one here. So as I said, I would use one or the other. I'm going to show you. Let's try and create a caption. There we go. Learn about the league and what we do. And let me make this an actual working URL. Okay.
So I had to have something in the title there.
Yes. The title is what will be hyperlinked. Not, well, technically the slide will be linked, hyperlinked, but the text or the title is required to enable this slideshow link. So I have
Because
that.
I
Yeah.
didn't do that because I thought it was going to show up twice. And you know, because you have to put in a title for the white space.
I haven't actually tested it with just the URL and the title blank.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry. Maybe I'll look at it later to see what I did, I guess.
Well, I'm gonna see. I'm testing it out now.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot to. Wait, did I not save my changes?
I don't think you published them.
Okay, that is correct. So let's go to the draft and publish. Thank you for that, for catching that. Okay. Okay, yeah, not pretty. So you definitely need the title.
Okay.
Okay. There we go. And now it actually works.
Hmm.
So yeah, to create my link, you have to include whatever is after my.lwv.org, and that will create your link to one of your pages. When it comes to the overall order of your slideshow, I made this particular one, I think it's sticky right now. Because the overall order is what's most recent goes to the top or to the as first. So the newer the slideshow item, the closer it is to the start of the slideshow. We can override that by making certain slideshow items sticky. But once you have more than one item that's made sticky, then it continues to follow that chronological order. So sticky items would still most recent be at the top of your sticky list. If you were looking to completely rearrange the order and you don't want it to be just based on how you created them, you can edit their created date. So we see here the order, and I don't know why this one's sitting so low. Oh, because I updated these. Okay, let's order these based on the created date. There we go. So this is technically the order that we see now, with the exception of Happy Halloween being made sticky and it's at the very top. If we wanted to reorder these in a way that was almost like flipping them upside down, where demo slide starts, then demo candidate forum, then the next one, we would go to edit each one. So I'll just show you an example for the demo slide. So I've opened the edit in a new tab here. I'm going to scroll all the way to the bottom, and it's the authoring information. So the more content or the more slideshow items you have that you're trying to rearrange in this way, it doesn't get confusing. It's a lot to follow. Because again, it's in chronological order, and if you're trying to have them show up in a specific spot, so demo slide, let's say I want it to show up after our 2023 advocacy wrap up, but before our demo candidate forum 100. So that means it has to be the created date has to change for anything after October 20th and anything before December 21st. I could even be as detailed as to go by the minute or the hour, but it's easier to just to go off of the date. So, sorry, I just already forgot. Okay, 10/27. And we do have to publish that. And so I made that change. It is reflected here, and we already can have an idea of what the new order will be. And again, Happy Halloween is made sticky, but we see demo slide in there. So definitely rely on sticky first. And I would say too, if you already, like if you are working to create, let's say, a handful of slideshow items in one sitting, do yourself the favor of creating them in that reverse order. So if, the most popular, the one that you want to see at the very top, create that one last. Yeah, that'll help you to prevent that additional like rearranging and making them sticky and all that.
And then do you want to talk about unpublishing?
Oh, yes. Thank you. Yes, let's do that for Happy Halloween because I think we're past that. My list or my filters here of my search get remembered. So that's the reason why we're still looking at these, but you can unpublish from a few different ways. So if you're on the manage content list, you can check the box for that item and then unpublish and execute.
Oh, I've never done it that way.
You can also, if you're looking at the content, you can do it from here and just unpublish. I think you can also do it from moderate. Yep.
That's how I do it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, all of those ways. I don't think there's a way to do it through the new draft. Yeah, not a way to do it there. But those three other ways, from manage content, from viewing the published item, or from moderate. And once you unpublish, it just sends it to a draft mode where only us webmasters can see it. So it still exists, but we go over to the slideshow and it's gone. So that's what we recommend instead of deleting. If you do delete a slideshow item, the image that is attached to it is still in the media library. So yeah.
And you showed him how to get to that, to even begin by going to the administrator league menu? Probably, I don't remember.
Yeah, yeah. Make
Yeah,
sure
okay.
you're logged in. This menu is on your homepage. It's also on articles, on action alerts, positions, calendar, and members only. So it's on a handful of pages. But yeah, manage content will be the way to manage your slideshow, but you'll always add new ones through there.
Okay, thanks. I'll just have to try it out and probably call you
Yes,
back later.
yeah, me too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, they're
Probably
fun.
after the first of the year, I'll give you a break, so we won't get a lot of calls and emails.
Thank you.
I have another, I just remembered,
Mhm.
I wasn't doing a slideshow, but I had to get my computer cleaned and all that, and I won't go into all that. But anyway, so when I was starting to try and upload some pictures, it wasn't letting me. It would say there is an issue, it didn't even say what it was specifically. And then I don't know, I tried a couple days later and it was letting me. So I don't know what was going on there.
Huh.
But I'm sure it was probably because I tried a couple, probably related to the new computer. I
I
don't know.
I think so, because I know Lynette had similar issues and I hadn't heard upload issues from anybody else. And she actually said that she was running Windows 365 too. So I thought that was odd.
Yeah, I do remember that now. Yeah.
Yeah. And hers did go away as well. So I'm glad that they went away, but it is a funny thing that it just happened for that
That's right.
quick couple of days.
Yeah. So any updates or anything on the system or anything?
Not yet. They have done some work to clean up traffic.
Oh,
It is necessary work that they're doing, but we are still in the new year going to be looking into how we can better the system overall, and that may just include a new dev team.
well, I have noticed a little less, I haven't gotten any Russian stuff for, gosh, I don't know, a couple weeks maybe. And usually I'd get something.
Yeah, I think that was part of their cleanup. The traffic, I think, was not only just like traffic on our site, just visitors, like they were also taking actions like filling out forms and things. So I think that's probably also part of their cleanup. We're seeing that effect.
Yeah. Thank you.
Well, that's good. I'm glad to
Yeah.
hear that
Just thought about that.
feedback.
Yeah. Yeah, because every time I see something, message from MyLO, I think, oh God, is that going to be another Russian? But sometimes it's just people trying to sell something,
That too, yeah.
Yeah. Do
But
you
we
need a
get that
cleaning
as well.
service?
We get that a lot through our state league's
Yeah.
website. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just unfortunately what we have to deal with for being online. Any other questions or comments?
No, thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for
Thank you very
sure.
much.
When they try to sell me stuff, I tell them to contact my Nigerian company.
There we go.
Right.
That's the tip of the day. So when
Yeah.
we come across those again, now we know, thanks to
Yeah.
Mike.
Yeah.
All right, folks. Thank
Okay.
you
Thank you.
as
Have a good
always.
holidays.
Yeah,
Stay
same to
safe.
you.
Thanks.
Be safe.
We'll see each other in the new year, and I'll be sure to post the reminder before next session.